This is another beautiful weekend right here again. You're welcome to the weekend edition of Talk Sport on Global Television. Well, I want to talk about so many things today, but I'm going to bring it very, very close to you so that you can understand it better. And I'm going to get started from what's happening from the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Then we also will talk about the things happening from the World Cup. My God, Argentina, even without Lionel Messi. All right, more stories still coming on your way. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and I have a sport analyst here joining me on Talk Sports today. Phillips Uja is his name. It's good to have you in the studio, Phillips.
Yeah, good morning, Ramsey. It's good to be here once again.
Well, you already know why I'm smiling.
Yeah.
You know why I'm smiling because of what happened in Ghana. And I was not very satisfied with what actually happened in Ghana. But as a matter of fact, let me quickly let you know that so many things happened yesterday, but I want to talk about just a few out of it. And I want to start with the fact that an added time a goal from substitute Felico Mission gave Angola a shocker 1-0 victory over Ghana. A lot of people were surprised to see that happen, but then this is a game. Even though Ghana had a very formidable squad, but then it's not all about how far it is, how well, man. And in that 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier in Kumasi, their own home ground yesterday, it was the Black Star that failed to actually clear a very, very, very low cross. And of course, the visitors took advantage of everything and bounced with Serbia-based, of course, Milson, who was actually very, very fantastic in that game. And as it is, that game did not end in favor of Ghana. Ghana actually lost to Angola 1-0, and so many things happened after that game. And of course, it is not something that should have happened originally. But then, when you are playing back at home and the fans are very thirsty and hungry for the winning, you know, when games like this are going on, the fans are everly ready to hear that's a goal. It is a goal, and the excitement, but they were denied of it. And at the end of the day, it resulted into a fight which was not supposed to be. Destructions happening right there in the stadium because Ghana lost to Angola. The margin wasn't too much for me, but then 3 points went to Angola. Phillips, yesterday, man, you saw how that thing actually panned out. You saw the reaction, and it will interest you to know that Ghana had a very formidable squad. Their guys in the Premier League were all on ground, as a matter of fact, but then this happened, and the fans couldn't hide their disappointment. And what we saw, that destruction actually happened in the stadium. What do you think about that scenario, Phillips?
No, should I say it's just like they say, whatever comes around goes around. It was this same Ghanaian team that came to Abuja here and denied us the chance of going to the World Cup. And same scenario pans out where I can't forget that
people,
day.
Can you hear what Phillips is saying?
How some of us made our way out of the stadium is still a mystery to us, because it was, that day was something else.
Moshood Abiola Stadium, of course.
Everything was, I mean, it's not as if I'm saying it's a good thing. Nobody is going to support that. Hooliganism in football is not something to condone with. But I think we just need to look at what really played out in that game. Angola, we know they're always a spoiling team. You remember far back in 2005, when they were led by Fabrice Aqua. That team had the likes of Gilberto, have the likes of Figueiredo and Flavio. They denied us. Also in Nigeria here, I think that was in Kano, where we played out a 1-1 draw, and then Nigeria did not go to the World Cup. Yeah. So since then, the name Angola, each time you mention it, Nigerians are aware, they know them. So I think the Ghanaians team, should I say they look down on them? Because if you look at the starting lineup, the Ghanaian Black Stars paraded. Yeah. I think they had
6 Premier League players.
More than 6. From what I'm seeing, they are more than 6. I think there are about 8 or 9 of them. Talking about Ayu, Fatau, what is his name? The Ayu brothers, Jordan. Lamptey. I mean, even the returning captain, the Arsenal player, what is he called? Thomas Partey. You know, he's just making a comeback after the long injury layoff. And then all of this is happening. So I think the fans were not just happy with what happened. Initially, because I followed the match, during the match, a fan ran up to the pitch trying to have this kind of invasion of the pitch, trying to have a photo shoot with Ayew. He was taken out before you know. But I think also we need to check the security in the stadium because there were so many loopholes in that stadium. If not, you know, normally the stadium gate, there used to be this kind of guard that you can't go across those bars, let alone you having access to the main bowl of the stadium. So I think those lapses were not properly checked, and it resulted in that field invasion. But looking at the two teams side by side, I think the Ghanaian team on paper, that is why, like the other time I came here, I was telling you, Super Eagles on paper, we are better. The Ghanaian team on paper, they are better than the Angolan team. Because if you look at the player that scored, he plays for Zvezda Reda in the Serbian league. That is Partizan Belgrade. And then look at the whole Ghanaian squad, where the likes of Inaki Williams and co. cannot even have a starting lineup. They have to come from the bench. So imagine a team like Angola defeating them. I think it speaks a whole lot. And that shows the way African football is going. So I think the Ghanaian team need to stand up. The last two matches they played in the last international window, they won both matches. So the fans were so happy. So coming to this one, they're losing this match, and they know that the next match they are going away, which victory is not guaranteed. So I think I understand why some of the fans were furious, but it is not the best for football in Africa.
The next game, victory is not guaranteed. Well, but let's see how it's going to go. Hooliganism in football, it's not something that we should always do. But then sometimes the fans get too crazy and you see a lot of things happening. Talking about African Cup of Nation qualifiers, it has been very, very intensive. It has been very, very, very great. And as a matter of fact, Nigeria, it's also going to be facing their own, what do I call it? Great nut to crack. I'm talking about Benin Republic here. Gone are the days when Nigerians look at Benin Republic when it comes to football. They will just say it is a walkover. Everyone knows that it will be a walkover if it comes to Benin Republic. But right now, Benin Republic is being coached by Gernot Rohr. And of course, they've been fantastic. They've won us before. And surprisingly, we are going to be playing with them this weekend. But the good news is the fact that our players are right on ground. The excitement right now as I speak with you in Uyo is unprecedented. It's so much. A lot of the players, the fans are happy. The fans don't even mind, even though they said that they are going to pay 1,000 naira to 3,000 naira to watch the game. But then the good news is that Osimhen is in camp. A lot of people were doubting whether or not Osimhen was going to be in that game. But as it is, Osimhen arrived yesterday. In fact, it was a glamorous arrival for Osimhen yesterday, and the reception was so wonderful. And I was thinking, what would have happened if Osimhen didn't come to be part of that game? And another question is, will Osimhen really be a game changer as far as this match is concerned? That is what we want to talk about right now. I want to finish talking about the Nations Cup before we go talk about the World Cup qualifiers and go to other things happening in Europe, because so many things lined up for you this weekend. As a matter of fact, let me get back to you, Phillips. Well, African Cup of Nations qualifier is not the way it used to be, especially right now that we have the big guns not having to win this trophy for a long while. Right now, Osimhen in camp. A lot of people were doubtful that Osimhen was not going to join the players in camp, but then yesterday it was a beautiful arrival and the reception was so spectacular. All right, let's look at the arrival of Osimhen. That's number one. His arrival and his presence in the team, is it going to make much difference? That's the question right now. And what do you think about the Nigerian team and their preparation for tomorrow? Because a lot of people have said so many things. Even the players are giving Nigerians hope. But then, is that good enough?
Well, I think just like when we were here on Wednesday when we talked about the arrival of Maduka Okoye and Osimhen. If you remember, I said it clearly here that Maduka Okoye have no reason to arrive on Thursday because Udinese, the last time I checked, they played their match on Sunday. And those that also play in Italian league, they have all arrived at roof camp. So why should it be that he will be arriving on Thursday? I think the message got to the necessary authorities I think before I got home, I got the news that Maduka Okoye was already in camp and he trained that day. So it was only Osimhen that was left. And the case of Osimhen is quite understood because he has to undergo his medical. After the medical, he has to undergo what they call unveiling ceremony. And they have to unveil him to the fans and all. What we saw earlier was just his arrival. And I learned he arrived at Istanbul by 3 a.m. in the night. And we saw that kind of crowd waiting, having sleepless night just to welcome him. That shows how much they valued his presence, how much they valued his arrival. But going to the Super Eagles camp, if you watch that video, there was a place, one of the foreign technical assistant of the team was asking him how was his trip. He said he arrived at 5 p.m. but he could not just stay back and then he had to fly his way down straight to Akwa Ibom, and even while the team have gone to the training pitch, I think he have to come with his own private arrangement to still meet them right there in the place. That shows how committed he is. He made so many sacrifices, and that is why when he had that issues with Finidi George, some of us came. It's not as if we really supported him, but we said we should not just throw away the child with the bathing water, with the dirty water, because this guy, whenever he comes to the national team, he's always been known for giving his all. He's jovial. You can look at the way he's being welcomed by all the players. Awoni, Lookman, Boniface, all of them were so happy seeing him. In fact, Chukwueze told him that I think say you don't go come. You can see the banters they're having there right there on the screen. So I think it's an admonishing moment for him, because imagine he was not here. There will be so many talk about him not honoring the invitation, but despite all odds, he still carved out the time to come. But it should also be noted that Osimhen have not played any competitive match this season. The last match he played, I think that was the last match of the season when Napoli played in the Italian Serie A. And so since then, he has not played any competitive match. So he only had yesterday training session, and they are going to be having their final training session today, because the Benenua, they are in town. They are going to have a feel of the stadium. They are going to be having a feel of the stadium. So they are going to rationalize how they are going to make use of their time. But I think even with 2 training sessions, Osimhen will be good to go. We saw the last match when Nigeria played South Africa. I think Ademola Lookman came pretty late. He came in on Thursday, and I think he trained only Thursday evening and Friday. But even in that match, Lookman played very, very well, even though we are seeing some kind of jet lag. He just played the European Champions Europa League final a few days ago, and then he came to camp with such tiredness, but still yet he gave his all. These are professionals, so we expect nothing less but a top-notch performance from Osimhen, at least to silence his critic, because some people already started saying that he was devalued and he was looked down upon by Chelsea. So the best way to prove them wrong is on the field of play. So if he can get at least a goal or 2 or 3 against Benenua national team, I think it's going to speak volume and raise his pedigree a little. All
right, that's a beautiful one. Well, it's going to raise his pedigree, and I want to assure you that a lot of people will be watching that game. Well, I don't know, but then all the way from Galatasaray, a lot of people are going to be watching these qualifiers because of Osimhen. I think the excitement in camp shows that something beautiful is going to come out of that game. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and see what will happen over the weekend. If you can fly to Uyo, why not? Just do that, because that is the patriotism we talk about. All right, let's just talk about certain things. Some of the players have come out to say, well, it is so good that Labadia left. All right, that they even prefer Iguavom, who, with they are seeing in camp right now, they said, number one, Iguavom know the players, okay, and he has been with some of them before, and the way they were even relating with themselves was better than bringing someone new, a stranger who is coming to try to get used to the players afresh. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. What they are saying is true, because if you check the squad that was released, I can tell you authoritatively that squad was released by the technical committee of the NFF. And who is the head? That is Augustine Iguavan. You understand? And it's just like when the news came out that he's going to be the one to handle the team, he said on his Facebook page that who is he not to always honor his fatherland, that he's always available each time duty calls. And we see him coming to coach the team at this short notice, because we all thought it was a so-called named, in quotes, announced foreign coach that was going to take charge. But thank God Iguavan is in charge, and some of these players, they are used to him, just like he said, the infamous 2022 issue that happened in the stadium. I think Eguavoen was also in charge, but it was not all his fault because it was almost a similar scenario, kind of fire brigade approach and all of that. But the first leg he played well. We went to Ghana, we drew, and we even have the chances of winning that game. There were questionable calls from the referee that I bet you, I think it was the days of VAR. We would have gotten one or two penalty in that game, but that is bygone anyway. But coming to this match, Augustine Eguavoen, I listened to some of the players' interview yesterday. I think I listened to Nwabali, I listened to, I think Semi Ajayi too. And then they were asking about, would they prefer, even Samuel Chukwu, they were asking about, would they prefer a foreign coach? And they said, either foreign coach, whether local coach, the most important thing is the result. That is what that is what they are yearning for. And most of them, they are not playing for the coach.
Okay,
they
the
say
result. Just hold your thought for a minute. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return. I will still talk more about what's going on in the Eagles camp and the expectations coming from the players, the relationship between the players and the coach. Talking about the interim coach of the Super Eagles right now, Austin Eguavoen. When we return, we'll talk more about that after this break. Talk Sports still live on your screen on global television with Ramsey, and in the studio right here is Phillips Uja, sport analyst, trying to dissect everything happening from the world of sport as far as time can actually permit us. We're talking about the Super Eagles relationship with the new coach, and we're talking about how they are used to themselves and the antecedents of Austin Eguavoen so far, and the preference of a foreign coach and of course a local coach. But then some of the players are making statements, and I want to say this, that what the players are saying should actually be taken very seriously because they are the ones in the field of play. They are now saying whether a foreign coach or a local coach, what's very important right now is the result. But how would they get the result except they have a formidable coach who can actually do the arithmetic? Let me get back to you. You were talking about the fact that some of the players are already saying they prefer Eguavoen for this game, and whether a foreign or local coach, what's important is the result. Yeah. Meaning they are in between, they are on top of the fence.
I listened. I liked what William Troost Ekong, the skipper of the side, said. He said their own job is just to come and play. That the necessary things that has to do with coaching or managerial aspects is that to be handled by the federation. That is not their own job to dabble into who is going to be the coach. You understand? But if they are called upon, their own is just to come and give him their 100% and make sure that what is needed to be done on the pitch of play is done. So I think, just like most of them said, it is not their duty to look at who is the coach. They are playing for the badge, and they are playing for the over 200 million Nigerians, and for them to be called up, they know it's a serious business. And I think Boniface said something. He said, we have so many coaches on paper, that is, Nigerians are all coaches. Even you seated here, there are some things we know that, but them in camp,
when you're not playing,
but that was what he said. He said them in camp, they know what they are feeling. He who wears the shoes knows where it pinches. So many people, he said, people can say whatever they want to say, but the good thing is that they are there to do the job. For the fact that they are called on to do the job, they have to let go of distraction and focus more on the job. And I think that is what they need to do. They forget about the past. The past is past. We'll see how we can redeem what has been done, talking about the World Cup qualifier. But this is the Nations Cup qualifier. We are at the verge of winning it last time. We lost narrowly to the host nation. So we'll say we can't qualify and then try to win it this time around. That is the concentration the players
Who say that is who say we don't go win? All right, that is a patriotic Nigerian talking right there. We can actually make it, and that is the spirit of sportsmanship. Let's quickly talk about all the things happening from the world of sport, and I want to be specific about Moses Simon, who is so angry that his name is not among those that were nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Why is he really saying this? Moses Simon has shared his concern about the previous nomination and appointment of a foreign manager, and of course particularly comparing the interim manager. Then he went ahead to talk about the fact that himself he has performed fantastically well, but not him in particular, and he was also referring to other African players, and he emphasized the fact that a lot of African players, even Nigerian players, would have made that list, but they are not there. And of course, another wonderful one is the fact that award-winning Super Eagles star issued a two-word, of course, response to Ballon d'Or snub. I call it a snub, and he also referred to it as a snub, despite lifting 3 trophies. Of course, who am I talking about right here? I want to talk about Victor Boniface this time, who has actually reacted to the fact that he himself, the person I mentioned earlier was talking about the fact that African players were somehow snubbed, but right now I think he is speaking for himself, talking about the Nigerian forward Victor Boniface, who reacted to being omitted from the 30-man 2024 FIFA Ballon d'Or shortlist announcement that came up the France Football on Wednesday. He was actually a part of some achievement so far. Boniface enjoyed a remarkable debut campaign, if you remember, in Germany, where he won the award for the Bundesliga Rookie of the season. The Super Eagles also, talking about the striker, played a very key role as Bayern Leverkusen went unbeaten on the domestic scene as they lift, of course, the Bundesliga title and German Cup. Boniface was also named in the Bundesliga's team of the season for his excellent contribution. Bayer Leverkusen also reached the final of the Europa League before their run was actually halted by Demola Lookman's inspired Atlanta because it was not very easy. But then Leverkusen have also added a third trophy after beating Stuttgart to claim the German Super Cup last month. Looking at all this award and many more that he has been part of, he is saying at least if nobody in Africa additional to Lookman would have been in that nomination, and he came out to reel out all of this. But right now our analyst in the studio is going to add his voice to the conversation. Let's get to know if what he has said is actually true. Let me hand you over to Phillips right now. Phillips, look at what he said. The achievements he reeled out. I would have gone through more of his achievement, but because of time, I just needed to stop right here. What do you think? Is it making any sense right here?
Well, I think to some extent it's making sense, but if you look at the criteria used in picking the best player, for crying out loud, we are talking about Ballon d'Or, not African Footballer of the Year. So I think Boniface, I like him so much. He's someone that if you follow him online, it's never a dull moment. Someone said if he hadn't been a footballer, he was going to be a comedian because it's a form of making some kind of funny jokes. But I think, joke aside, Boniface had a pretty good season last season. But if you remember, towards the course of last season, he was injured. For better part of the season, he was injured. Even towards the end of that season, even before the final, he was sparingly used. He was coming up as sub, probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes to the end of the game. And even the matches he managed to start, he was never finishing them. So I think some of those things were what were considered. You can't be bringing in a player that is being used as fringe player in a team, and then you expect that he's going to... Yes, the Bayern Leverkusen team that won the Europa, that had the invisible season, I've not really gone through the list very well, but I know one of their players, Fries, the German, is meant to be there. It will be unlikely if he didn't make that score, because the guy had a fantastic season. He went to Europe in the UEFA Nations League. He also did very well for Germany. So I think players like that we can talk about them. But Boniface, he missed the AFCON. He didn't play the AFCON. Better part of the season he didn't play. So I think we are looking at this is individual award now, not a collection of award for the team Bayern Leverkusen. So you also need to understand that this is individual award. So I think now he has missed out of the Ballon d'Or. Let's just pray that for the African Footballer of the Year, he's going to be considered, because there are going to be a lot of names from Nigeria, hopefully this time around. Lookman, we know that is a sure bet. If we're even looking at who is meant to win it, if he has a good showing in these qualifiers, coupled with this display in Atlanta and the Nations Cup, I think nobody deserves it better than Lookman. Okay. But you know, CAF at times politics is involved, so we never can say what will happen. But for Boniface, I think his time will come. Let him just keep up his game, and then his time is gonna come.
Boniface, this one is coming right here from Phillips Uja. Keep on your game. Your A game should always be on the table, and you will be nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Then do something and be part of the African Footballer of the Year nomination and clinch it. That's what we're saying. All right, let's just talk a little bit about grassroots football right now. Talking about grassroots football, because you can't talk about these big boys without talking about the foundation. Some person said grassroots sport has been ignored greatly in Nigeria. But I don't know if you differ in opinion. The reason why I'm saying this is because the Benue State Football Association, as a matter of fact, has they want to revive the Governors Cup, where this selection is being made, and the competition to create a platform where younger talents can actually be discovered. The chairman of the Benue State Football Association, talking about Paul Ede, stated this yesterday during a press conference, and a lot of media houses actually picked that because this has not happened in a long while, and he actually applauded the governor who has accepted this to happen, so that they can have players coming up from his own state. And of course it will commence on October 1st, stressing that the president of the Nigerian Football Association, talking about Ibrahim Gusau, has promised to even make a donation of a trophy. This is to tell you that there are some people that even want to support this grassroots sport. But what has been the hindrance? If you want to talk about the NPFL, a lot of Nigerians don't even watch the NPFL, not to talk about the NNL, the Nigerian National League, which is very, very interesting. If you want to talk about the Nigerian National League, it's one league that all Nigerians need to pay a very good attention to, but all these things are being overlooked. What is happening? What's happening, Philip? What's happening?
Well, you've said it all. Let me start from Barrister Paul Ede. Should I say is a round peg in a round hole. This is the first time that the Benue State FA is doing the right thing by electing someone that is passionate about the development of the game. It's someone I know personally. I think when he launched his first of all, it started with a team called Idoma United in Zone C area of Benue State. That is the Benue South Senatorial District. After which he also established a team called Nigeria Tales, the female team that in less than 3 years, they are now in the NPFL. He also owns another team. And this is somebody that has been doing a whole lot for the grassroots. Now, if you look at the Nigeria Tales team, a good number of them are in the present under-20 team to Colombia. If you also look at his other teams that he has, and one good thing about the teams he has is that he goes for the grassroots players. If you look at Nigeria Tales, you see a whole lot of Benue-born talent from Makurdi, from Gboko, from Otukpo, and then he looks for a way to groom all of them, and then they come up, and then you see them grow up together, and a good number of them have been signed by both Nigerian league clubs and also some foreign leagues. And then at the point in time, he even brought in Onomebi, the former Super Falcons captain.
Oh, from Super Falcons?
Yes.
To Nigeria.
I mean, he brought somebody from Europe, and then he brought him right to Nigeria. I think he was paying her over ₦1 million monthly, something that is unheard of in the Nigerian Women League. But he has stood his ground that this game is meant to be improved, and then that is what he's taking down to Benue State. Now he has come up with a whole lot of innovations, even the cup we're talking about now. And one good thing about him is that he knows how to play the politics. He goes there to do his thing, and he comes to the NFF for the status of him being a member of the NP, what's it called, the Football League body. He's also a member, as virtue of him being the FA chairman of Benue State, and he has had this kind of rapport with Ibrahim Gusso, the NFF president, and then he has been rubbing off on him, and I think it's a good one for him.
But can't we spread this thing across Nigeria? Look at what NNL is doing. Can't we spread this thing across Nigeria so that every time will not depend on if you are not a foreign player or if you are not this and that, you will not grow up the ladder. You know, you don't just jump. There is this process. Can't we spread this thing? I don't know.
Let me shock you. Benjamin Tanimu, the player that was called up to replace Bright Osai Samuel, are you aware he has left? First of all, he left Nigeria to Tanzanian League. Is the Tanzanian League better than Nigeria? Your guess is as good as mine. Now he learned he has left the Tanzanian League. Hefo FC has left for a team in England called Crawley FC. And the last time I checked, I think Crawley FC are in League 3, if I'm not mistaken. That goes to tell you, give you a picture of what we are facing, because these players prefer to leave Nigeria and go to obscure league like Uzbekistan, go to obscure league like Singapore, Malta, Thailand. Even a team from there cannot even beat Abuja FC, but because they have this kind of incentive, they prefer to go there. Now, you remember Dele Alampasu that played for the youth team. Where is Alampasu today? You remember Akpan Udoh? A good number of them, they are some of them, the leagues they are, you can't even mention their name. Lithuania, Malta. They are not even in the top. Had they been there in the top teams in those leagues, it wouldn't have bothered us most. But you see them walloping relegation zone in some of those leagues. That shows that the league, sorry to say, it lacks the endorsement, it lacks the kind of financial endorsement that is going to compel some of these players to give in their best. If you go to the street of Abuja here today, I bet you running through the express, almost all the mini stadiums here in Abuja, go there and see a lot of talent. Spread, but you see, all of them, they are all looking for this greener pasture. Before you know, you see an agent come to indict them that come, I have a deal for you. They won't even want to hear which country. The next thing, they jump into it. Maybe before you know, you see them maybe walloping somewhere in Tanzania, in Benin Republic. I mean,
all right, Massive Fata, this is talking about grassroots sports right here, because we need to grow up the ladder to become great, to become the Lionel Messi, the Cristiano Ronaldo, or the Mbappe and the rest of them, Lukman, as the case may be. You need to start from somewhere, and the encouragement from the grassroots is not encouraging at all. That's what it means. Okay, as it is right now, I think Paul Ede, the Benue State Football Association chairman, is doing a great job, and everyone needs to join the queue so that this can be done fantastically, and we can by that put Nigeria on a global map. Investors should actually invest in football. Sport is very, very good for investment. Let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo a little bit. I'm moving from Africa right now, Nigeria. Let's get to what is happening in where is he right now? Is he in Saudi at the moment? He is playing in a Saudi club. You know what I'm talking about. But now let's just talk about his accumulation of goals that actually made the difference recently. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we'll talk about the goals netted by Cristiano Ronaldo. Don't go anywhere, because so much lined up for you. Welcome back. Talk Sports still live on your screen from Global Television. As a matter of fact, let's talk about Cristiano Ronaldo right here. Cristiano Ronaldo became the very first men's player that has made this mark so far so good. What am I talking about? It will interest you to know that the first men's player in history to have scored how many goals? 900 beautiful goals in official matches, reaching the latest milestone in Portugal UEFA Nations League match against Croatia. Of course, in Lisbon yesterday, Cristiano Ronaldo made it happen. Ronaldo was able to secure the historic goal with a volley from 6 yards of a cross from Nuno and Mendes to put Portugal 2-0 up in the 34th minute. Portugal went on to win 2-1 in that game, and of course the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner is 58 goals ahead of his own. Of course, what do I call him right now? Nearest challenger. You know who I'm talking about? Lionel Messi, who is on, as a matter of fact, 842 Brazilian legend. Pelé is third on the list with 765. What does this mean to you right now? Ronaldo getting 900 beautiful goals, breaking record right now. In history, we've not had this before. And you remember the competition between Ronaldo and Messi. Can we say this one has put Ronaldo a little bit, giving him a little edge over Lionel Messi?
Well, Ronaldo, he just can't stop scoring. Just like they say, the older the wine, the sweeter it becomes.
Wow.
So I think for Cristiano Ronaldo, he's someone that I don't envy him. He deserves all what he's getting, all the accolades he deserves it, because it shows that he's hardworking. He's just a product of hard work, because there's nothing you can say for someone at the almost 40 years. Look at his body physique, the way he plays. And this guy, it might interest you to know that there are so many things he has sacrificed to remain fit as this. If you go through his story and some kind of what is it called, sacrifice his pay just to be like. I remember there was a time there's this certain Manchester United player, a teammate of his, Evra. When Evra said, I think it was during kind of this off season, that he went to his house just for them to marry. And the next thing Ronaldo did was that let them go to the gym. I was like, bro, this is off season. We are meant to rest. He said no. For him, there's nothing like resting time. So I think he deserves all of this. I never saw it coming, because after the Euros, it was a disappointing Nations League for him, and then Euro 2024, it was a disappointing one for him. He never hid his disappointment, and that was when Pepe, his other old Portuguese player, retired. So we're thinking probably he's also going to follow that line, but he said no, he's not retiring yet. He still got some things to offer, despite the fact that the Portuguese team have a whole lot of new attackers coming up. The likes of Rafael Leao, Ramos Goncalves, Bernardo Silva, and a whole lot of them. But this same guy said no, he still has something to offer, and he has been proving it. And this is what we lack in this part of the world. This is what we lack, because the last time we have a player in Africa play up to the age of close to 80 was, I think, Roger Milla. After Roger Milla, I don't think any outfield player have played that long, apart from Hossam El Hadari for Egypt, that we know that one is a goalkeeper and is expected. But aside that, you already have players, especially strikers, that stayed that long, up to 35, 36. At most 32, they say they are already tired. And so I think we just need to try to improve our game. For Ronaldo, like I said, I don't envy him. He deserves every accolade. Unarguably, he remained one of the best players that have ever kicked the round leather game. Unfortunately, both him and Messi, for the first time, they are missing from Ballon d'Or. I think it's high time they leave the stage for the younger generation. So we'll see what the likes of Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Haaland, Bellingham,
and our own Lookman.
Yes. We'll see what
we cannot mention anybody without mentioning Lookman.
Charity begins at home. So we want to see how they were able to come to the stage. But I bet you the rivalry that we can hardly see any rivalry like the Messi-Ronaldo rivalry in decades to come.
Yeah, well, we may not see, but then time shall tell about that. Messi was not in the game yesterday, but Argentina made it happen.
Yes, it was early this morning, actually.
Early this morning.
I think the match was played around 12 a.m. I was awake to watch, 1 a.m. I was awake to watch that match, and it was not a good first half for them. They tried all they could, but the first half, the Chileans held on to their own, and the first half ended goalless. the goal started rolling in from the second half. Julian Alvarez, the other guy from Italy, and then the third goal. And I think it's a convincing win for them, because if it was just a 1-0 win, they would have said it was a narrow victory. But they came up in the second half to show that they are good enough, and they held on to their own, defeating the Chileans. The Chileans are no pushovers, if you know, when it comes to South American football. The Chileans, the Uruguayans, these teams are no pushover at all. So for them to have defeated them, it speaks volume. And they are trying to look at how the pre or the post Messi era is going to be, because I saw yesterday Paulo Dybala was the one putting on the jersey number 10. Paulo Dybala is also aged. Even Otamendi is also aged. He started that match. So I think the younger generation of players are beginning to influence the Argentine team, the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, and a whole lot of them. So I think we wait to see how the Argentine team, the Albacete, how they are going to carry on when Messi finally calls it.
Yeah, because Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are so close to retirement.
They can't play forever.
They can't play forever. Even Ronaldo was being asked what is going to happen after retirement, and he was like, okay, he doesn't know yet. All right, let's talk about Kylian Mbappe, who returned to action for France for the first time since Euro 2024 in today's UEFA Nations League clash against Italy. That game is a game to watch out for, because the superstar forward insisting he is not dwelling on the disappointing campaign that they had. Of course, what are we looking up for today as far as Kylian Mbappe is concerned? A lot of things expected from Kylian Mbappe.
Back then in France. Yes, the Euros was a disappointing one from the French national team, but there are something to share in the Olympics team, because the Olympic team did pretty well, and I learned some players in the Olympic team have been drafted into the French squad. A player like Michael Olise and the rest of them, I learned they are going to be in this squad. So I think it's going to be a game to watch out for. It's going to be a cracker to watch out for, because Kylian Mbappe, since he made that the so-called dream transfer, I don't want to call it big money move, because someone said he went for free. Because if Madrid were going to be paying, I think he should have been valued around 100 million plus pounds. But he went for free, and then since he made that move, he has not really come up to show us the class we know him for. So I think this is a game for him to redeem his image. He's going to want to show himself. But playing against an Italian team, the Italian team, to me, they are also not being too good these days, and then they're also going to be missing the new Liverpool signing, talking about Federico Chiesa. He's not going to be available for this one, and then we'll wait to see how the Italian coach is going to come up with his A game, to see if they are going to be able to hold on the French. On paper, the French team has an edge over the Italian team, but this is Europe. Most times when you expect the result to go this way, it goes. Who could ever believe that a lowly nation like San Marino could finally win a football game? They won Luxembourg 1-0 yesterday.
That's the surprise.
It was a shock. It was a shock.
It's going to be a shock, of
the last time I checked, if San Marino play against a team like maybe England or Belgium, the least they collect is 7-8. And so for them to have come up to win a game, that shows that football is really evolving. So wait to see how that match is going to play. But I promise you, it's going to be a tight encounter.
All right, we are rounding up right now, because our time is not our friend at this very particular point in time. But we can't stop this show without talking about the fact that Cole Palmer has been left out of Chelsea's Europa. So many things happening in Chelsea. The Europa Conference League, Palmer, a very formidable player, is been left out of the squad, and it's a surprising decision by the club, as many people have tempted. What do you think about that? I know you are familiar with Chelsea.
Yes. I from the body language of Enzo Maresca, I knew he's up to something, because if you look at the way he has been rotating the squad that plays in the Premier League for Chelsea is not the same squad.
But they have a lot of games lineups.
Yes. Someone said Chelsea have 45 players, but I think that has been debunked. The squad size have been cut down to just 25 active players. So I think going to the Europa Conference League, probably they are not valuing the league that much. If not, if it was a Jose Mourinho, I bet he would have gone with his best team. But for them to have dropped Kopama, probably they want to give more playing time to other players. Yeah. The likes of Pedro Neto, Madueke, the likes of Joao Felix and the rest. They want to explore the options they have in the attacking lineup. So I think that is why the coach have done that. If you even watch the past two previous qualifiers Chelsea played, The goalkeeper, Philip Jorgensen, was used. Going to the defense, they were all changed. They used Brother Chile and Disasi, and then Vega, and what is it called? The other guy at the right full back. Even coming to the only player that has been used for both the Premier League and the Europa Conference League has just been the skipper of the side. That is Enzo Fernandez. So I think his squad rotation policy, let's watch and see how it's going to play out. But if it doesn't work, that is a risk or a gamble that he has taken.
All right, we are rounding up. Our time is already gone. But then Casemiro is determined to fight for his place at Manchester United. What do you think?
The question is, Casemiro, for the player he is, does he really need to fight? That is another thing I don't understand. Just like you saying, someone like maybe, should I say, coming to Nigeria, let's say we see someone like Osimhen trying to fight for his shirt in his team. I think is not too good for the young lad. Whoever his personal trainer is, to also need to put in more effort, because Casemiro, as far as I'm concerned, for a player of his caliber, he should have no equal in Manchester United, especially when it comes to damage. Apart from the fact that Kobe Mino is young and energetic, the next midfielder that you're going to point out in Manchester United should be Casemiro.
Galatasaray, they are coming for him.
Galatasaray, I think they are out for something. They've just acquired Osimhen. I think let them just calm down. Let them just calm down, because maybe they want to turn to the Galacticos of Turkey, but it's not going to be an easy one for them, because Casemiro, even while he made that move from Bernabeu to Old Trafford, some of us, we were shocked, because we never saw it coming. Even when we heard of the rumor that Casemiro wants to come to Manchester United, we were like, will you just leave driving Benz and we are going for, let me not downgrade the United team, but I think it's a shocking move. And then he opted for it. He wanted to come. So I think he needs to stay there and give his best for the team.
All right, he needed to stay there to give his best for the team. Finally, before I let you go, I know you're not going to tell me Chelsea, of course, because you know how Chelsea is faring right now. Which club is the best in England? I'm putting you on the hot spot before we close the show.
The best in
the
England.
Best team in England. And remember, the people can come for you.
Well,
I'm putting you on the hot seat.
The best team in England is not debatable for now. The Manchester City team, the management, the coach, the way they are now, they are not ready to relinquish that position to any team in the next 5-10 years, because other teams are not even competing as far as I'm concerned. Apart from Liverpool, that is at least doing something. We know that Arsenal, they will always come with their IGG, initial gragra, and then at the end of the day,
initial gragra.
And at the end of the day, they will always fizzle out. But if you look at Manchester City, Guardiola doesn't sign much player. You see, at the end of every season, he signs 1 or 2 players. You see the team. And one good thing he does is he shipped that player for good sum of money. Look at, he just shipped out Julian Alvarez. Guess how much they sold him for? How much did they get him for? He has been doing good business, and he has been getting cool players too. So I think, look at, they knew that their midfield, there have been kind of speculation about Rodri. What did they do? They've gone to bring back Gundogan for free.
All right, Gundogan for free. That's going to be the size
Man City is the best team. They are
I thought I was going to take you on a rest, but then I didn't know you have all of this right there prepared. All right, it's good to have you join us on Talk Sports today. This is the end of the show for today. We will come on your way again. Keep tab on the channel. This is Sport Ignite, Sports Day and Night. This is the most unifying factor that ran the game and other games in the world of sport. Stay entertained. Bye-bye for now. My name is Ramsey Enoch.